All right, so what we're gonna do here is we are answering the question, uh, given the graph of f of x, sketch the approximate graph of f prime of x. I'm confused how to solve this problem, right? So let's do it together. All right, let me get my little dragger. Okay, so we're gonna start with number 7. Number 7 is parabola, right? And so I look closer here. So the graph of f prime of x is the graph of the tangent lines. So I'm going to draw some tangent lines. First one I can draw, maybe. Oh, okay, let's try that again. The first one I can draw is like right here, approximately at that x equals -1, and the slope is 0. So then at -1, I'm going to put a point at 0 because the slope of the tangent line is 0. Now, maybe let me pick a point over here at -5. Let me try to draw a tangent line, tangent to the graph at -5. So I see that this is a negative slope. And oh no, it's a positive slope, from left to right. Sorry about that. And maybe the slope is, if it goes over 1 up 2. So maybe the slope is like 2. So then over here at -5, for the x value, I'm going to put a y value of 2. Because at x equals -5, the slope is 2. Let me try this. Yeah. So we got -5, 2. And then also my tangent line at -1 was 0. So it's the x value of f of x, and the y values are the slope of f of x at that one point. Okay, so now we see at 5, we see like the opposite thing happening, right? So at 5, it is a -2. So you see something really special happens here. Notice the points line up in a straight line. That is no coincidence. So a quadratic is degree 2. Its derivative, its graph of f prime is degree 1. So this is f of x. Notice it's degree 2. And this low f prime of x is a linear graph, degree 1. Do you know the degree of this guy? You should. It's the algebra 2 question. This is degree 3. So what do you think the graph of f prime of x is going to be? Degree 2? You're saying degree 2? You're probably like, no, it can't be, Mr. Field. Well, let's draw some tangent lines. So here about at -1.5, we have a 0. So let me just graph that. 0 right there. And then also a 0 at 2. 0 at 2. And then what else do we have? We have over here at -5, 4, oh, we can't even graph that at -3. We have an extremely negative slope, right? This is at x equals -3. It's an extremely negative slope. So it's like, is like even further down. But then something happens after it goes to 0. The slope is positive, right? If I draw a tangent line right here, that tangent line on this blue part would be positive. Okay, so let me undo that a little bit. So here's the thing. It's positive, but it starts at 0 right here, right? And then it's positive, but then it goes to 0 again. So it must be positive. Oops. It must be positive, but then it goes back to 0. And then over here, it's really, really negative. So sure enough, the graph of f prime is degree 2. Look at that. Okay, so what do? The first step is we draw the tangent lines. The second step is we plot the coordinates. So I know it looks easy when you're just watching, but why don't you try to draw some tangent lines here? And what do you know what the first tangent lines I was looking for was the slopes of 0. So here we can see that the slope of the tangent line from -6 over looks like 0, right? So from -6 over, if I could put it on here from -6 over, we know that the derivative graph is 0. And what else do we see? Then maybe at -5, it looks like we have -5, +1, would you say? So should we graph that? -5, +1. Wow, this is a very interesting graph. It looks like the same thing. And then, but then it goes up to infinity. So then the slope goes up, up, up to infinity. But then at -4, it's undefined. So we don't even have, so it goes up to infinity, just like the graph. And then now though, right here, this is where the graph is going to look different, because that is a negative slope, isn't it? And right at the other side, -4, it is extremely negative. So it's starting way down and then it goes to 0. So actually, it goes to 0 at 2, we say. So maybe something like that, right? And then it goes to 0, and then it becomes really negative again. So it becomes really negative again at like 4. So our graph looks like this. And then right over here, what's the slope doing? The slope is positive, and then it goes to 0. So it's positive, and then it goes to 0. So it's a little tricky, but you just gotta look at the slopes at each point and consider, are they 0, positive, or negative? Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna look for, last one, looking for the 0 slope. I see a 0 slope right here. Sorry, I didn't quite make it there, but that's a 0 slope right at 0. Okay, so you have a 0 slope at 0. That means it goes through the origin. And we have a 0 slope from -4 on. So there's that. And also a 0 slope from 4 on. So there's that. And then what is the slope right here? It is very positive. The slope is very positive right there. It's going up, but then it's going, which is why it's positive, but it's getting flatter and then eventually becoming 0. So that all starts between 2 and 4. That means it's very positive, but then it's going to 0. And on this side, what kind of a slope is that? If you draw a tangent line, you'll see that it's negative. So that happens between 2 and -2 and -4. It's a very negative slope that goes to 0. And then here, we have a negative slope. We have a positive slope. Okay, so what is this at 1? Maybe our slope is -1. So at 1, our slope is -1. And then at +1, our slope might be +1. So it's something like this in the middle. It looks like a line, because we know that the parabola is a line. So it's approximately like that. And we're just trying to sketch the approximate graph. All right, so if I zoom out a little bit, you can see everything. Ta-da! Oh, did I miss one? I think I got. Oh no, there it is. All right, so now you give it a try. I hope that was helpful. Let's just say it one more time. So what do? Sketch the 0 slope. Look for where the slope is positive, and then your y value would be positive. Is it going towards 0? Then look for the points where the slope is negative. Make your y value negative, and then make it go up to 0, and connect the dots. And you should have a good start at least. I hope this is helpful. All right.